Hey, my maker friends, how is everybody doing this morning? I'm really excited you're joining me this morning. My name is Kerri, and I've got a YouTube channel called Mama Dares to DIY. Over there, I do a lot of fun and crazy creative DIYs. I'm on all of the other social media sites under the same name, Mama Dares to DIY. So if you want to see what I'm up to, definitely head on over there and check that out. Y'all, I'm here today, though, on a Maker Studios page, live with you because Amy has invited me here to debut a new stencil. I cannot wait to show you. Look at this. This is called Bread Bakery. Isn't that pretty? That bread graphic is so much fun. I love the wheat and I absolutely love these fonts. Amy has the prettiest fonts on all of her stencils. I can't wait to jump in and show you the project I've got planned. But before we do, be sure to share this video with your friends. Tag a couple of them because one lucky person is going to win this absolutely beautiful stencil today. So if you want to be in on that, you've got to drop those friends' names down in the comments below. Tell them they should hop on over here and join us live because we're having way too much fun. So that's no talking, y'all. Let's hop on the workspace and get started. Okay, y'all, so this is our workspace today. I'll give you another quick look at the stencil. Isn't that beautiful? So fun. It's a big 8.5 by 11 inches in total. It's a big stencil. Now think about being able to pull out certain other aspects. You don't have to use the full stencil just like you see it. You can just pull out like the Happiness Baked Daily and put that with the loaf of bread if you've got a smaller project, or you could just put the wheat on something. So just think about stencils when you're shopping and when you're looking at all of the wonderful stencil that Amy has made for us. Try to look at it as individual little pieces, even though it's one big stencil. I'm going to actually be using the entire stencil today because I've got this great cutting board. I picked up this cutting board at one of my local discount stores. I think I actually paid like $4.99 for it. I'm also going to be using some of the Amy Howard at Home gel stain in the colored Kensington Black. And I'm going to be using one of the wonderful paintbrushes that Amy has. I love this paintbrush. One thing you need to remember to do is if your cutting board has like a coating on it, or if it's been waxed, or if it's been sealed already, you want to be sure to clean that off. We need a super porous surface for this project, and the only way that this stain is going to soak down into the wood like we want it to is if there's no coating or anything on it. So I did go ahead off camera before we got started this morning and I sanded this off and I cleaned it really well. I just used a 400 grit sandpaper, I believe. So I'm going to open up my stencil. I'm also going to save the package because once we're through with our stencil and we washed it and we've let it dry, we're actually going to put it back into the package so that we can reuse it again and again and again. Aren't these mesh stencils fun? I mean, just being able to pick up this stencil like this and just pick it up and reuse it and reposition it if we need to is just something super amazing. I'm going to try to center this up as best as I can. And that actually looks pretty good. You could also do this with your gel art inks, or you could use some of your one-step paints if you want to, but I want to give this project the illusion of being inlaid or being engraved. So I'm going to burnish in my stencil very well. And what that means is you're just going to take your finger and you want to make sure that the entire stencil is stuck down super well. If you're not burnishing it in your stencils, more than likely you're going to be getting some seepage or some bleed underneath it, and we definitely don't want that. Think about how much fun this would be to do for Christmas presents. I mean, let's be honest. You can never have too many cutting boards, right? Okay, so I think that's pretty good. I'm going to do it just a little bit more to be on the safe side. Better safe than sorry. Okay, so I'm just going to shake up my stain. And these stains are so super concentrated. A little bit goes a very long way. One thing that I really appreciate about these stains, besides being water cleanup, is the smell. I know that sounds super weird, but y'all, it really smells nice. So I'm just going to take some of my stain and I'm going to dab it. Just going to dab it until the whole thing is covered. I mean, it really, you can't get much easier than this, can you? Now, if you're afraid that you might get your stain or your paints or whatever off of your stencil here, you can always just mask this with a little bit of painter's tape. And you can always mask anything with painter's tape that you don't want to have stain or paint on it. If you're just now joining us, I would love to know where you're joining us from this morning. I myself live in Panama City Beach, Florida. The weather has been absolutely beautiful. Really doesn't feel like fall yet. We've had a couple of cooler days, but it's still pretty warm. Don't forget, you also have the chance to win a stencil like this for your very own. Just drop a couple of your friends' names down in the comments below. Invite them over here to join us at a maker studio, and you might win this stencil. This would be so pretty to display at your Thanksgiving dinner. And then you can use the back side to flip it over and actually use it. These cutting boards also make great hostess gifts. So if you're bringing the bread for a dinner party, think about making one of these to give to your hostess when you bring the bread. Wouldn't that be a nice gift? I admit, when I find cutting board deals like this, I buy all of them that I can, simply because I'm always needing super inexpensive gifts. You could also sell these. Just make sure that you put, if your cutting board has the drain holes or the drain ring around the edge, you want to put your stencil on the back side. You don't want to put your stencil on the same side as your drain, because you don't want to be cutting on that side. So just a quick tip, if you're using your cutting board that's got the drain hole, use it on the back side. Okay, so I think all of my stencil is covered now. Y'all, you seriously cannot get any easier than this. So I'm going to let this set for just a few minutes. And after it's set and my stain has had time to absorb, I'm just going to take a little paper towel and I'm going to lift and blot. You don't want to rub. We're not going to be rubbing that in we just want to blot some of the excess off. Something on my table is rattling as I'm blotting. Sorry, y'all. And you can see how it's sort of drying. That's what we want to blot off. And again, you could also do this with your one-step paints or even your gel art inks. I'm just a fan of using the stains. This is going to be so pretty. Don't forget to let me know, are you watching us live or are you catching this on the replay? I love it when y'all join us live here at a maker's studio. It's just such a great way to start your morning, isn't it? You get your endorphins flowing. Crafting is so therapeutic. I'm just going to keep using this same paper towel, and I'm just going to pick up when it gets saturated. I'm going to switch to a cleaner side. I'm so excited to reveal this. Do you have something in mind just from looking at this stencil? Y'all have some of the best ideas. I think sometimes I feel like I get stuck in a rut, and y'all totally inspire me. Okay, so I think I've got all of the excess off of my stencil. Now, as soon as I take this up, I'm going to be super careful. And when I take it up, I'm going to go ahead and drop this into my bucket of water so I can reuse this stencil for another project. Isn't that beautiful? Oh my goodness. Y'all, look how pretty that is. See how a difference it makes when you burnish that stencil in. Take your time. Prep work is so important. You think you can just skip over it and do it super fast, but y'all, you will be so much more pleased with your projects when you take the time to prep properly. So remember, if you're just now joining us, this is a cutting board that I picked up. It had a coating on it, so I sanded it off. I put my stencil down, I burnished in that stencil, and then I just applied my Kensington Black gel stain over the top of that. And here we are. Once this stain dries, it's going to soak into the wood, and it's going to look exactly like it's been laser engraved in there. Isn't that pretty? So I did go ahead before we got started, and I took the little piece of jute cord off of the board. So now I'll just put this back on. And y'all, this project is done. It's finished. That's all it is to it, to making your very own custom engraved look cutting board. Isn't that gorgeous? I would love to know what you think about this project. Are you going to try this project for your very own? If you do, again, I found this at a local discount store. I think it was actually a Bell's discount store. But check any of your thrift stores. You can always find good cutting boards at your thrift stores. If the one you find has any groove marks in it or it's got cutting marks on it, then feel free to just sand that down as well. Isn't it so pretty? Absolutely amazing. thanks so much, Amy, for giving us this brand new Bread Bakery stencil. I hope y'all enjoy it as much as I do. I really hope y'all enjoyed this project today. I think it turned out absolutely beautiful. I can't wait to see what you do with this Bread Bakery stencil for your very own. Don't forget to share your projects with us on social media. Tag a maker studio. Tag me if I have inspired you to do something, because y'all, that brings me so much joy when I see that I have actually inspired you to do something out of your comfort zone and something totally creative. Don't forget, if you want the opportunity to win the stencil for your very own, you've got to drop a couple of your friends' names down in the comments below. Sprinkle that love with them and tell them they should be joining us over here in all of the fun we're having at a maker studio. Until next time, happy DIYing, y'all.